are having an amazing day so far. All right, so today we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. So we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. So this is a continuation of our previous lesson because it was different. We literally broke down the lessons into certain parts, but we will be doing prefixes and suffixes, and it is our grade 3 English lesson. So before we start, we are going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged into aplusstudents.ca with your username as well as your password, and then you're going to select the subject of language arts. And then we're going to select grade 3. Once we have selected grade 3, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of prefixes and suffixes. And like I said, this is a continuation of the lesson that we did already, but under prefixes and suffixes, or the chapter of prefixes and suffixes, there was a lot of lesson that we had to break down. All right, so we are doing the chapter of prefixes and suffixes. So our chapter is prefixes and suffixes. The subject is English Language Arts, grade 3. And the lessons that we are focusing on is determine the meaning of the word with able or able, or mint or mint, and to determine the meaning of a word with a suffix. So we're going to do a review on that because we've been doing suffixes mainly. And then we're also going to determine the meaning of a word with prefixes and suffixes. So we're going to review that. All right. So once again, a suffix, right? So a suffix is a word that can be added to the end of a word. So we have the base word or a root word that can basically stand on its own. And then we basically just add the either a word or letters at the end of that word or at the end of that base word or root word, and then it basically changes the meaning of that word. So a suffix can be added at the end of a base word or a root word, and it changes the meaning of a word. And today we're going to determine the meaning of the word with a bowl or mint. And before we do that, this lesson is on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back, recap, go over it, and then you can go to aplusstudents.ca. On the screen, we have the chapters, subjects, grade, as well as the lessons that we are focusing on. And we see the suffix can be added to the end of a word, or specifically end of a base word or root word, and it changes the meaning of the word. So we are determining the meaning of the word able or mint. That is basically how it sounds when we add it to the root word or the base word. But if you say it just so, the way you see it, but if you say it the way you see it, it will sound as able or meant. The suffix able, it means the ability to, or you're able to. So able, it means you are able to be. So payable. So the word payable. So as you can see, it's payable. So which means that our root word is pay. That's the word that can basically stand on its own. And the suffix that is added to it is that word which is able. So payable. So that word was added to pay. So payable, it means able to be paid, right? Meaning that if something is payable, then it means that you need to be able to pay the goods that maybe you took on credit because you specifically said you may be going to pay month end, right? So they'll tell you it is payable by end of the month, for example. So payable, it then means that you should be able to pay the amount by the month by the end of the month as agreed. So that is payable, meaning that it is able to be paid, or you should be able to pay whatever that is, for example, outstanding. And like we say, pay is our root word, or we call it the base word. So that is pay. Pay can stand on its own. We can even use that word pay and we can add that word mint and say payment, right? And once we say payment, and then it means that the word changes. The meaning of that word changes now. So pay is basically then the root word. And now this is the word that can basically stand on its own. And if you add either a suffix or another prefix to it, and then it means that the word changes, or the meaning of this word changes. So we said print, we have payable, where we added the able to it. And now we have payment. So mint was added. And payment means the action or result of payment, which means that if you, for example, say, please borrow me something, right, till next week, then it means that it is payable next week. You need to be able to pay that amount next week. That is payable. But payment means the action or result of paying, meaning that next week comes and you need to be able to pay his money back or give his thing back. And then it means that you are making a payment. You are doing the action or the result of paying back whatever that you owe. So that is payment. And as you can see is this word pay is the root word, or it is the base word. So the only thing we did was we added a bill And we also added mint to that specific word, and the meaning changed. So payment, it means the action of or result of paying. All right. Okay, so if you look at this page in front of us, right, it's called affixes. So this is basically prefixes as well as suffixes, right? And it says a group of letters attached before and after the root word. So it is a group of words, group of letters, which is attached before and after the root word. Like an example I made of pay. Able as well as mint was added at the end, or let's say it was basically added after the root word, right? And if we specifically look at this word, for example, accept, if we look at the word accept, and accept is the root word, and it's the root word, and the root word, like we said, it's a word that can basically stand on its own. And then we have the prefix, which is then attached before, and then we have the suffix, which is added at the back. So we call that prefixes and suffixes. So for example, like we said, accept is the word that stands on its own. Right? This is the root word. So with the root word, we can then add a word in front or before, which we call the prefix. So if we say unaccept or unacceptable, right? So then it means that this word is the prefix, and then we add able, which is the suffix. And then it basically changes the meaning of that word. So this becomes now unacceptable. Accept is to accept something, right? Let's accept it. It's okay. Thank you, right? But unacceptable is like a negative word. It's either your behavior is unacceptable, we don't accept that kind of behavior, right? Or accept is where you either accept or receive something. And that is more in a positive way. All right. So if we look at the list of suffixes, right? And if we specifically look at the word mint, the definition of mint is the action or the result of, right? The result of doing something. And there we have an example, which is movement, right? It is the result or the action of moving. You are moving, there's movement happening, right? And we have retirement. It is the action or result of, for example, finishing your job at the end of a period of maybe usually at the age of 60, you're not done working for the rest of your life and you're not just going into retirement. And then we have able, because this is the two that we are focusing on, suffixes, which is meant as well as able. And we said the definition is able to be, like we said, payable. You are able to pay the amount, or you should be able to pay the amount, right? Or you should be able to do something, right? And here we have preventable, meaning that if we use the word preventable in a sentence, then it means that you should be able to prevent certain situations from happening. It should be able to be, right, adaptable. So as much as you're uncomfortable, it's your first time, right? You are able to adapt to something. That is what that means, right? Inflatable, right? It is able to be inflated. So that is the meanings or definitions of the word meant and able. And during this lesson, we are going to find out more about meant as well as able, or let's say the suffixes meant as well as able. All right. So now we say that we are doing our lesson on a+students.ca. So now we're going to a+students.ca. All right, and we're going to scroll down up until we get to determine the meaning of the word with able or meant. And we say the suffix can be added to the end of the word and it changes the meaning of the word, right? And we made mention of able. Able is our word, which means you are able to be. And payable, right? It's able to be paid. You said you were going to pay, which means that I assume that you're able to pay that amount, right? Then we have inflatable. Here we have suffix, which is mint, right? And mint also is the action or result of. And here we have an example of payment. So we have payable and we have payment. And payment means the action result of paying. So payable means that you are able to pay, or you should be able to pay. But payment, which is the result of the action, meaning that you are paying now. I made a payment. Here is the thing that I owe you. Thank you. Right? So if you look at the word able, if you look at the suffix able, can you think of other words or more words with the suffix able? So think of a word with the suffix able or able, as well as mint. Like if we think of the word mint, for example, and then we can maybe say improvement. Right? And improvement means it's the action or result of improving. So there has been changes. There has been an improvement in my academics, right? I'm doing very well now. I practiced and now I have improved. There has been improvement. So can you think of more words or another word that ends with either mint or ends with able. All right. So now we're going to move along. We're not going to look at certain activities, right? So it says, what does management mean? Management. And you this is where you need to basically know the meaning of either mint, or you need to know the meaning of basically the suffix, right? And the suffix mint is the action or result of pain. So management. And if you look at the word manage, right, then it means that management either means the result of managing, or it is the action of managing, right? So management is the action of managing. Some either it's management of something. You are managing your business, you are managing your life. We have management system in place at our workplaces, at schools, right? They even say our parents are the managers at home because they manage everything. It's the action of managing everything within the household. And that is management. And management means the action of managing. Breakable. If we look at the word breakable, so we said breakable, and payable means not payable, but able means able to be, right? Which means that breakable is able to be broken. Because break is broken. It's when something breaks, right? So it is able to be broken. It is breakable, right? Meaning that if you throw this glass on the floor, or you throw this plate on this floor, this glass plate on the floor, it's going to break. It's a breakable plate. And then chewable, right? Chewable is in the ability or being able to be chewed. So this sweet or lollipop or something can be chewed. So it means it's able to be chewed. All right, so now we're going on to our test, right? Where we are going to determine the meaning of a word with able or mint. So, what does breakable mean? Breakable. Is breakable the result of breaking something, or is it able to be broken? So, breakable, is it the result of breaking or able to be broken? So, we need to select either option one or option two. What does breakable mean? If something is breakable, It's the result of breaking or able to be broken. All right, so if we select the correct answer, we can say it is number two. Yes, it is able to be broken. So well done. The second option is correct. What does disappointment mean? Is it the result of disappointing or able to be disappointed? Disappointment. To disappointment. Is it the result of disappointment or able to be disappointed? All right. So basically, it is the result of disappointing, right? Your disappointment. It's the result of disappointing either your family with your results or behavior or something. So the first one was the correct one, so well done. What does enjoyable means? Enjoyable. Is it able to be enjoyed or the action of enjoyed? Enjoyable, enjoyable. Able to be enjoyed or the action of enjoyed? Enjoyable. Is it option one or option two? Able to be enjoyed or the action of enjoyed? All right, so we can choose the first option, which is able to be enjoyed. So well done. Option one is correct. Because remember, we said able is able to be, right? And we said meant is either the action or the result of something, right? So now, printable. What does printable mean? Is it able to be printed or the action of printing? Printable. Able to be printed or the action of printing? Okay, so able or printable is able to be printed. Because if you just specifically look at the word within, or let's say you just look at the suffix able, it is able to be, right? So able to be printed. So option one is correct. So well done. And what does enjoyment mean? So we said enjoyable is able to be enjoyed, but what does enjoyment mean? Enjoyment. Is enjoyment able to be enjoyed or the action of enjoying? Enjoyment. Remember, we said that able means the ability to be, able to be, and mint, the suffix mint, is either the action of or the result of something. Mint, enjoyment. Is it able to be enjoyed or the action of enjoying? And remember, we said that the word, the suffix mint, it is either the action of something or the result of something, which means that enjoyment means the action of enjoying. Oh, it's able to be enjoyed. Okay. Sorry about that. But mint is actually where it is the action or it is the result of enjoying. Able is where you are able to be enjoyed. All right, so now we're going on to the next one, right? We're going on to the next one, which is to determine the meaning of a word with a suffix, right? And if we look at the word packageable, right? In our previous lesson, we did lis and nis, which is N-E-S-S, as well as L-E-S-S. And we said the word lis. We said the word lis means without, right? So lis or less means without. So what does packageable mean? Packageable. If we look at the word packageable, this is now a review on some of the words that we did already. So packageable, packageable. So packageable. So if we look at the word packageable, right? Or packable, sorry. Packable, it's where you are packing something. So which means that packable is it's where you are able to pack something or it's able to be packed. So you can pack this away, you can pack that away, it is able to be packed. So that is packable. If we look at the word endless, endless. Endless, we said the word less, right? Means without. So if something is endless, then it means that it is without end. So it's like we even say that like space is endless, right? So space has no end. So endless, it is without end. And if we look at the word changeable, right? Changeable. So we can change this bulb, we can change this something, but it is able to be changed. And that is basically, let's say, the meanings of those words. And how do we know the meanings of those words? Because we know the meaning of the suffixes. And the suffixes is a word or it can be a group of letters that is added at the end of a root word or a base word. All right. So that is basically determining the meaning of the word suffix. It was just reviewing based on what we did already. All right. So now let's go to our test. And like we say, this is now going to be a review on some of the things that we did already or some of the suffixes that we did already. And in order for you to know the word or the meaning of a word, then you need to know the meaning also of a suffix or what that suffix means. For example, in this case, skillful, the suffix is full, which is F-U-L or F-U-double-L. So what does skillful mean? If they say somebody's skillful, is it without skill or full of skill? You are skillful. Is it without skill or you are full of skill? All right, so we can then say skillful means where you are full of skill, right? You are skillful, you are full of skill. You're not without skill, you are full of skill. Especially gymnastics, right? People who do gymnastics, they are skillful. So full of skill is correct. What does sweetly mean? Lee, sweetly. Is it the state of being sweet or in a sweet way? Sweetly. The state of being sweet or in a sweet way? So sweetly. So sweetly, what does sweetly mean? The state of being sweet or in a sweet way? All right. So let's choose in a sweet way. And that is correct. So sweetly is in a sweet way. So well done. Eagerness. You look at the word eagerness, all right? What does eagerness mean? Is it in an eager way or the state of being eager? So eagerness. Is it the state of being eager or is it in an eager way? Eagerness. Is it in an eager way or the state of being eager? All right, so if we choose the meaning of eagerness, then we can say it is the state of being eager. We said in a certain way is li. All right, let's do the last one. Moonless. Moonless. What does moonless mean? Is it without a moon or is it full of moons? Moonless. So moonless is without a moon or full of moons. All right, so if we look at moonless, and then we can say, remember we said the word less means without, right? So which means that moonless is without a moon. And what does returnable mean? Returnable. Is it the action of returning something or able to be returned? Returnable. Is it the action of returning or able to be returned? Usually you'll find those cool drink bottles and then they'll tell you that you can go and return it. So which means that it is returnable. Which means that returnable means that you are able to return it. Able to be returned. So well done. Returnable is able to be returned. All right, so that is basically our lesson on prefixes and suffixes. All right, we said when it comes to prefixes and suffixes, we have a root word. A root word is basically a word that can stand on its own. And with a root word, you can either add a word in front of it, which we call a prefix. So we put a word before, either a group of words or letters before, which we call a prefix. And you can either add a group of letters after that root word or the base word, which we call a suffix. And knowing the meaning either of a suffix or knowing the meaning of a prefix will then determine the meaning of a certain word. So even if we change the suffix, for example, lis or nis or mint, right? Whatever our suffix is, even if you have the same root word, but then it changes the meaning of a certain word, right? So it changes the meaning of a certain word. So when we add either a suffix, which we add a word, which we add a group of words after the root word, it changes the meaning of a word. Or when we add a prefix, which is the word before the root word, then it changes the meaning of the word. Or with certain words, certain root words, you can add both prefix as well as suffix to a root word, and then it changes the meaning of that specific word. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson, grade 3. Thank you very much for joining our class, and I really hope you are going to have a good day ahead. Goodbye.